Okay, and this is my review of Vallejo paints compared to Citadel paints. I am using the Vallejo paints after changing over from Citadel, after using the Citadel paints for about 20 to 25 years. The new formula for Citadel paints are a bit thick, requiring the use of a palette, and I find just scooping it out on a brush somewhat awkward. The Vallejo range paints, as you can see, have a nozzle dropper, and although a lot of people would complain that they get blocked up, they actually don't. I haven't had a blocked nozzle yet, and I've been using these now for about a year. I'm not going to bash on GW paints. They are a very good paint, but unfortunately for me, not the paints I wish to use. There are 4 types of paint in the Vallejo range. There is game colour, model colour, game air, and if I can find one here, which I don't seem to have yes I do, and model air. Now, the advantages here: game air or model air, you don't really need to thin the paints down to use them. They're pre-thinned for use going through an airbrush, but they will go on with a regular brush very, very well. That's what I do with them. The game air and model air colours, now what you'll find with these is, depending on how much you're going to use, depends on whether you need to water them down. I personally find that watering them down is necessary. About a single drop of water off a brush is more than enough to thin them down for use. Sometimes you might need a little spot more water to get them to really flow, but that would be all that you'd need. One thing I will say, and that I do still use, are Games Workshop's shades, the washes, because I find that these are far better quality paints and inks to the Vallejo inks. They're much easier to work with, and you can see where you are with how much you've got left. That's the paints themselves covered. Now, as far as getting them, obviously Citadel paints are much easier to get. There are Games Workshops in probably every major town or city right throughout the UK and across Europe now, and they're very well established in the US as well. So it's just drift into the shop and pick up whatever colours you want. Getting the colours for the Vallejo paints can be a little bit trickier. I get mine from a local games store where I can go and see what colours I want. The ranges are split up in colours. You will find you'll have to use the game or model colour paints to really get the full range, the same as GW's, but overall they do have a much broader range of colours and shades than GW do have themselves. Either way, whichever you choose to work with, they're very good paints. I find the Vallejo that little bit better. Price wise, the Vallejo is slightly cheaper and the pots are slightly bigger. They are 17mm, I believe they are 17mm. Yeah, the 17mm pots compared to GW's pot, which is 12, so you do get a little bit more paint for your money. The variant is only about, I think, 20 pence between the two. So that's my quick review of Vallejo and Games Workshop's paints. I hope it helps. The most important lesson with the paints is don't be afraid to experiment on either side. Just stick to a good quality paint. I have tried other paints. I've tried P3 paints, I've tried Army Painter paints, and they lack either the range of colours in the case of the Formula P3, or, as I found with Army Painter paints, they lack the pigment. They don't have the quality in the colour. The best thing I found from Army Painter range is the brushes, but you know, that's a different matter again for a different video. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll watch my next one soon.